Hi, everybody, and welcome to Alta's second video in the Ask the Digital Bootcamp Experts video series. This is a video series that we've put together leading up to our digital closing and e-mortgage bootcamp, which takes place August 18th, 19th, and 20th, at Tuesday through Thursday. So mark your calendars. I'm Eddie Oddo with First American Title, and this video is called Boots on the Ground. Oh, what's it called? Boots on the Ground, the Inside Scoop. And we've got a couple of guests here that are going to help me with this. Our first is Web Raulston, CEO of Team Title Services in Tennessee. How you doing, Web?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Eddie.
And Kelli Flores with First American Title. Kelli is Vice President and State Manager for Colorado Direct Operations for First American. Hello, Kelli.
Hi, Eddie. Thank you for having me.
Web and Kelli have had their boots on the ground out there during this pandemic and have experience in remote closing. So we're gonna get into some interesting questions with Web and Kelli in just a second. But before we do, I want to thank Qualia for their sponsorship and their support of the digital closing and e-mortgage bootcamp. And with that, we'll jump right into it. Web, as a settlement provider in Tennessee, I know that you have been experimenting with RON at least for a while, and you've been zigging and zagging through all sorts of challenges leading up to the pandemic. But then the pandemic hits, awareness spreads, urgency, all sorts of needs out there. Web, what do you see happening? What's been your experience in Tennessee?
Yeah, I think really what's been happening is everybody's just doing this, probably for everybody across the country. Everybody's just been doing whatever they can to try to take care of their clients during this time. When we last spoke in March, it was really maybe some frustration on my part that we have these new laws, and some of which have been in place in some states for quite some time, but we weren't utilizing them, we weren't pushing them forward. So it was an urge to get yourself familiar with the technology, stick your toe in the water. Well, whether you were sticking your toe in the water or not, everybody just got pushed in the pool by COVID. And so we saw just variations of all sorts of types of closings. We saw governors giving orders and allowing certain things, not allowing certain things. It really changed our industry and required almost daily communication with our underwriters to see what they were going to allow and what they were going to insure, and then complete daily communication with our customers and our clients. I mean, things were moving and shifting, and you just had to adapt.
Absolutely. There's a lot changing out there. So I'm sure you'll continue to evolve with it in Tennessee, and we'll hear more about that on future meetings with you, Web. Thanks for sharing your story. Kelli, why don't we turn to you and talk about this new concept that popped up, this new acronym RIN, R-I-N, Remote Ink Sign Notarization. So you're in one of those states, Colorado, that had an executive order come on the books as an emergency order, and that allowed signing, wet signing, over webcam. So tell us how that came about, how you reacted, what's happening in Colorado with your realtors, lenders, or anything else.
Yeah, thank you, Eddie. RON, Colorado had talked about for many years. Legislatively, it never was successful in passing, but lots of planning and conversation had gone in to prepare for RON. Come March, of course, the world changed and governor's orders came out, and our governor's orders allowed for remote ink notarization. At the time, we didn't even have that acronym, right? So that was new to all of us. Like many companies, we quickly tried to implement a solution for our customers to get deals closed. So the remote ink notarization really allowed us to move forward in many situations that perhaps those transactions would have failed if we didn't have that solution. Many lenders initially were not prepared to allow for a RIN transaction. As we started getting into April and into May, more lenders did allow for remote notarization for their loan documents. Where we really found RIN to be helpful initially was on a seller side transaction with the lender's acknowledgement and permission. We did remote notarizations on the seller side, and then certainly in cash transactions. That really allowed us to move some transactions forward that perhaps would have otherwise failed if we didn't have this solution. So for us in Colorado and many other states, it was really important to have the ability and the means to do some type of remote notarization. In our case, it was an ink notarization.
Excellent. So you're starting to see a little bit more acceptance of that just because of the need from the lender side, Kelli?
Absolutely. Lenders were scrambling just like everyone to try to find a solution to get transactions closed. And so more local lenders, regional lenders seemed able to implement and allow that initially, but it is expanding out. And, you know, certainly I think the adoption rate will continue to grow as we continue this. And the longer we do this and the more it is proven that it can work in a safe, secure way, certainly more and more lenders, buyers, sellers, consumers, I think will absolutely want to use remote notarization to close transactions.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think we have time for just a quick question, Webb. I'll go back to you on this one. And really, it's about the charges. So when you sign up with these RON vendors or webcam vendors, whatever it is, there is an extra fee for charged to your company if you're initiating those orders. How do you handle those? Is that something you can pass on to the consumers? Is that something that you're eating for now? Is it fluctuating? What do you see? How do you handle the fees just operationally?
I think it's certainly something that can be passed on to the consumers. For us, just to adapt as quickly as possible, we had toyed around with an extra fee, but there was really so many moving options. RON was really just one of the few solutions that we're using to implement, so it was impossible for us to really peg it with a RON charge, get that on the CD, and then things start changing where maybe it became a RIN closing or something else, and then we didn't have those fees associated. So to be honest, we've been, eating it for right now. I think we're just trying to get through and get to a time and place where we can sit down and see what those costs are, and then find a better way to structure those and recoup those.
Well, thanks for that information. I think that's something that the industry from settlement and lender side, we're really still trying to figure that out. Ultimately, I believe that the industry, that many of these companies can save money by implementing remote notarization, but initially it's going to cost more than it costs less. So we'll see how that plays out. And I hope that's enough to pique your interest. We are going to be talking to some more settlement providers as this video series progresses. Our next video is called Boots on the Ground, The Real Story, where we'll get some more insights from settlement providers out there experiencing remote notary and e-closings. If you're watching on social media, don't forget to hit like and share. And again, this is a reminder that we are leading up to our virtual boot camp for digital closing and e-mortgage. And that again is on August 18th through the 20th. That's a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Registration will be open soon. Once again, a shout out to Qualia as our sponsor for their support of the upcoming virtual digital closing and e-mortgage boot camp. And until our next video in our series, I'm Eddie Oddo. Webb, Kelli, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.